guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sunju. Today I wanted to do a quick birthday month book haul. Last month was my birthday month, and for my birthday I asked for a few different books, and I also then went and bought myself some books, so I'm just going to jump right into it. The first book that I asked for was The No-Show by Beth O'Leary, and I was pretty excited to see this. I'm pretty sure I either saw it on like Fable or maybe I saw it mentioned in a video, but essentially there are three women who are involved with the same man, and they were stood up on Valentine's Day, and this is just kind of a story about them each untangling their relationship with this man and trying to figure out what the deal with him is. It sounds really fun. It reminds me of the movie The Other Woman with, I believe, Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann, and Kate Upton. And I thought that was a pretty funny movie, so I'm excited to kind of see something similar in book form, and it seems like it should be fun. The next book I asked for was The Familiars, and this is by Stacey Halls. I have seen a couple of her books that I really am interested in. I think the other one I was drawn to was The Orphan, but I wanted either one of those and I was gifted this one. This takes place in 1612 in England, and it's based around the real-life Pendle witch trials, which I don't know anything about. I only learned about the Salem witch trials, and essentially a woman finds out that she's with child, and she finds her physician's note saying that she will not survive the childbirth, so she ends up seeking out help from a midwife who then ends up standing trial being accused of being a witch. And so the story just shows how the women are fighting to prove that she is not a witch so she can be free to do her duties as a midwife to help this woman deliver the baby. I think that this author has a lot of interesting plot lines for books, and I'm really excited to see how this reads. It's not really like anything I've read before, but it sounds super compelling, so I am looking forward to eventually reading this one. The next two books I'm really excited for. This one is called The Silence of Bones by Jane Hur, and it's supposed to take place in 1800 Chosun, which is like an ancient time for South Korea. And it follows a girl named Sol, and she is working closely with an inspector, and she is living out a curse that was put on her, I'm assuming. And she ends up helping the inspector investigate the murder of a woman, and they begin to form a bond while solving this woman's case. However, the inspector becomes the prime suspect, and Sol is kind of tasked with trying to really figure out who the murderer was. But it was a time when silence and obedience were incredibly common and expected from people, so speaking up could really cost her her life. I am really happy that I have this book now. I wanted to branch out and read more Asian writers. I am Korean myself, and so the fact that this book takes place in Chosun or during Chosun times is really exciting to me, and I am also just really looking forward to being able to read a book that is something a little familiar to me in terms of culture or has a protagonist that I can more easily identify with. And I am really hoping to be able to find a new favorite author in Jane Hur, because I hear a lot of really good things about her writing. The next book I have is The God and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim. This book is about Kim Hani, who is a retired Gumiho. She doesn't like devour souls anymore, so she just kind of lives in the mortal world, and she works as a barista in a coffee shop, and she likes to annoy one of the customers there who is an exiled god. And at some point during the story, a powerful demon escapes the underworld, and the exiled god is contacted by the emperor of the heavenly kingdom that he was exiled from, and told that if he can kill the demon and he can kill Kim Hani, who is also known as the infamous Scarlet Fox, then he can be reinstated. And Obviously, Kim Honey has no intentions of being caught, so she proposes that they team up together because she thinks that being closer to him will allow her easier access to sabotage his plans. But inexplicably, they are drawn to each other and must decide if they are going to prevent the apocalypse or let the world end. So this says it's book 1 of Fate's Thread. I'm assuming this is a series, so I hope that I really like this book and can find a new series to start, even though I'm in like the middle of a ton of other series right now. And again, with this book in particular, I picked it up because it is also based in Korean culture in South Korea, and I want to be able to start reading things that I find relatable or familiar, or maybe allow me to learn even more about my culture that I did not already know. So I'm just also super excited to get into this one. The last 2 books I picked up were from Half Price Books, and I have been looking for one of them, and the other one is one that I've recently been on the hunt for. The first one that I have been debating picking up for a long time is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I think this is also referred to as the Knock 'Em Out series, maybe I've heard it referred to, or maybe that's another one of her series, but I've seen a lot of people talk about this book and this series online, and there are a lot of booktubers that I've watched that enjoy this series, and I feel similarly to this one as I do Magnolia Parks. I don't really find the book that intriguing itself, but I do think that the amount of people who like it and the kind of following it has makes me drawn to see what people see in it. There's one other series called Boys of Tommen series, I believe, and I also bought the first book in that series a while ago because I was also hearing a lot of good things, and even though it doesn't seem like something that was my speed, I really wanted to give it a try. Because I have finished Magnolia Parks and I did not feel too strongly about it, and I'm kind of regretting purchasing it. I think moving forward I will be trying those kinds of series from the public library first, and if I really like them, going ahead and purchasing them. This book is about a woman named Naomi who is on the run from her entire life, including her friends and family and her fiance. She finds herself going to rescue her estranged twin sister Tina from the town of Knock 'Em Out. However, Tina has not changed and ends up stealing her car and her money and leaves behind a niece that she did not know she had. And then she meets a man named Knox, who is just kind of like this surly guy who decides to help her because he watched all of this kind of unfold. I've heard it's pretty dramatic, I heard it's pretty toxic and a little bit dark, but a lot of people seem to really like it, so I'm willing to give it a chance. The next book I have is the second book in the King of Sins series, King of Pride by Anna Huang. I read the first one last month as part of my August TBR, and I enjoyed it enough that I went out to Half Price Books and picked out the second one. This is about Kai, who is a character from the first book. He is the one who spars with Dante, and he is British, and we notice that he seems kind of interested in Vivian's friend Isabella. So this is their book. It basically says that they're complete opposites. He's usually not somebody who goes for someone so chaotic and free-willed as Isabella, but he is drawn to her for reasons unbeknownst to him. And she has no problem charming men except for Kai, who she can't seem to charm. And she also is a bartender at an exclusive club that he frequents, where she has a rule that she does not mess around with the customers that she serves, but it's sort of like a forbidden love-esque story, and I really liked the first one. I thought it was pretty good. So I am going to read the second one, and I have the third one checked out from my public library because even though I really liked the first one and I was able to find the second one half priced, I don't see myself having it as a series on my shelf. I like it so far, but to me it's something that's kind of like fun to read, but I'll probably end up unhauling them later because I can't see myself reaching for them again. So I think from here on out I will be trying to finish the series in my public library. Okay guys, that was everything. It was a small book haul, I guess, for some people. To me, 6 books is a lot. I am really trying to work on paring down my library. I know, as you can see, it's a pretty small collection. However, I do have about 80 some books on my physical TBR, and a lot of these are from years of collecting. Some of my oldest books have been on my TBR for about 5 years. I only recently got back into reading within the last year or so, and I was having a really hard time reading the things that I was purchasing previous to that. And now that I have gotten way more into reading and it's become my main hobby, I have been branching out into different genres, and I find that my taste in books is just not the same as it was a couple years ago. So I do think that I am working on not purchasing as many books and trying to work my way through my physical TBR. I also have been getting a lot more books out of the public library. If you've watched my mid-year wrap-up, which I will link below and also put in the cards, I read a lot of books from the public library this first half of the year, and I really think it's important to support your public libraries, so I try to do that as much as I can while also tackling my physical TBR. But I feel like because it was my birthday, it was a special occasion, and I was able to pick up some books or be gifted some books that I was really looking forward to reading, and I am really happy to have them on my TBR so that I now have them available for me to reach for whenever I decide to. I think that the next video I'm going to be filming is an unhaul of my books, as well as some sort of like read it to unhaul it type video. If you are interested, then you can stay tuned for those videos. Other than that, thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out and watch my videos. If you like me or you like this video, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!